It's time for Papa's Perspective, brought to you by Bob's Discount Furniture, the official furniture store and mattress partner of the New York Giants. As we welcome you to the Hackensack Meridian Health Podcast Studio, keep getting better. This edition of Papa's Perspective welcomes Super Bowl champion Jeff Feagles. And Jeff, over the course of your 23-year career, you have 40 miles of punts, 71,211 yards. What enabled you to have the longevity that you had?
I think it was, again, I think this whole sport is being lucky a little bit. You know, I think at the beginning, making the team, you're right out of college, and it's just kind of persevering through it, but just being at the right place at the right time. I think that, you know, most of my work was always, I was trying to get better at what I was doing and took it very seriously in the off season, trying to improve my skill. And then I also think that just, you know, taking care of yourself as I played in my 20s, 30s, and 40s. So being healthy wise. And I got lucky with never really having a bad injury that kept me out of the game.
You were unbelievable at controlling punt returners with directional punting. I remember Steve Smith, he played for the Carolina Panthers. He was a great player. And he was also a great returner. And he said he hated playing against you because you caused him fits. Talk about that subtle part of the game that a lot of times goes unnoticed.
Well, early on in my career, I was just trying to figure it out. And I soon realized that I could move those guys around a little bit. And Bob, you'll remember this, but you know, back in the day, there wasn't a lot of guys that could return punts very well. I think that as the game got better, the return position got a little bit better. So the guy returning the football was most of the time was a better athlete than the 10 guys covering him. I took myself out of that, by the way. So at that point, I was just like, we're gonna have to try to get these guys to move around a little bit. So I just started working on the directional kicking, and as I got a little bit older, my leg strength got down a little bit, but I knew I could control them by taking less hang time, but just more direction. And it just kind of got a lot of fun doing it and just picked up the craft. And then, of course, the special teams coaches and the head coaches realized this is kind of a weapon. And I think that's what probably the number one reason that kept me around as long as I did, because I was able to just control what that guy was doing.
You had a game at Giant Stadium as a member of Seattle where I remember calling the game and was incredulous at how you single-handedly dominated the flow of the game. Do you remember that game?
I do. I think it was a 9-6 game.
Yes.
And I remember Toomer was the punt returner. And, of course, Monty and I worked together after we were done playing. And he always remembers that one game. And I remember him coming to me after the game and said to me, dude, like, what like, you were just in fuego that day. Every ball was on the 5. Every ball was on the 6. In a 9-6 game, you got to keep the field position going. So I had plenty of chances to do that. But I think that was just one of those times where, and I tell people all the time, Bob, that, being with the Cardinals, with the Eagles, and with the Giants, I had played in that stadium a lot. Right. And so I think a big factor of me coming, when Ernie Accorsi brought me to New York, I think it was a big thing that, listen, this guy's played in cold weather. He's played in this stadium. And I really kind of, this is going to sound crazy, I really liked Giant Stadium. I figured it out, and that was the big thing. So I was able to control that game.
I want to ask you about, because everyone talks about Tynes, kicking the ball in sub-zero temperature. Eli throwing the ball to Plaxico in that NFC Championship game in Green Bay for the 2007 season. One thing that never gets talked about, you had to catch those rocks from Diassi yes. in order to get the ball down. What was that like that day?
So, not to correct you, but remember it was Jay Alford.
Jay Alford.
On the extra point. I was scared to death anytime that Jay Alford was snapping the football to me. He was a rookie, okay? The other thing that a lot of people don't understand, that he's left-handed. So, Zach Diassi is right-handed. So, Zach was doing the punts, and we have Jay Alford doing the extra points. Well, punts are going one way and extra points are going the other. So I remember when he first came and they started to put him in the first day of practice, I remember I was like dropping these the snaps because they were coming the wrong way. So I never knew, but Jay was very strong and he liked to throw that thing 100 miles an hour. I told him before that game, it's 20 below zero. So just think of me back there 8 yards and just kind of take a little bit off of it. And so that game was ridiculous because I was, one, never been in an NFC Championship game, but two, lining up for that kick to go to the Super Bowl, knowing what Lawrence Tynes had done before that, and have a rookie snapper all I could say to myself is catch it and get it down. You don't want anybody telling you it's your fault. So, I mean, Lawrence had already messed a couple. Jay's a rookie. I think I got all the built-in excuses at that point. So, but it's just, it's one of those things we just focus in on it. But that was just one of the best holds I've ever made.
Let's talk a little bit about life after football as well.
Sure.
Obviously, your last season with the Giants was 2009, and you did broadcasting work with us, but you got involved in real estate. How did you get involved in it? How has it evolved? And now you're not only in real estate, but you have a chance to work with your kids. Yeah,
it was a long process. I think that just like any NFL player, they kind of don't know how long you're going to play in the NFL. So you try to start thinking maybe, like around the, I don't know, it's 8th, 9th year, you're kind of thinking, I got a good career here. What am I going to do? So I really always loved real estate. I got my license and was starting to work in the off season at selling real estate. So when I went to Seattle was really what it all started for me, because in the off season I got my license and realized that, hey, there's kind of a niche here with these players. They're coming and going. The coaches are just staying. They're here, they're gone. So I started just mixing and matching players, coaches, new guys coming in, and just started putting them in housing. Got a lot of experience that way. Matt Hasselbeck was one of them. One of my first clients was Matt Hasselbeck in the off season. So when I moved to New York, I just got my license again and really understood that when I was done playing, I wanted to go into real estate. So I got sidetracked a little bit. I still did a little bit after I retired, of course, working with you guys. And then soon I realized that, this is something that can be a little bit bigger than it is. And I'm going to put together a real estate team. So I have 4 boys. Blake is my second oldest and Zach's my youngest. Sent them to get their real estate licenses, and we joined a team together, put it together, and 3.5 years later, that's where we're at.
What are some of the challenges that you face in the real estate world where you hear Coach Coughlin in the back of your head, or some of your most influential coaches, and the messaging that they gave you as a player applies to what you're doing now?
So the unique feature of our team is everything is focused around team. And that comes from a lot of Tom Coughlin philosophies. But, we have a team meeting. We're 5 minutes early, believe it or not. Every morning we have a 9 o'clock meeting. We're showing up at 8:55. I just kept the whole thing because I feel like it's just something that was ingrained in my mind for so long. And I just can't have a team and not start 5 minutes early. So we do that. We call it the huddle. We really we build a lot of our marketing around football in the Feagles home team, and we have a scouting report. So if you're looking to buy a home, we put it in the scouting report. So we kind of mix it all because Blake and Zach both played college football, so they kind of can relate to that. But I think that the discipline that comes with it is kind of like football oriented, so that kind of keeps us going. But I will tell you, there is that little guy on my shoulder, and it's Tom Coughlin telling me about discipline.
What about what's the success like for you now? I mean, there was nothing higher than winning a Super Bowl, winning a big game. What is that big win? Where do you get that adrenaline rush now?
It's funny because I've thought about this all the time, like what drives you, and what profession it is, whether it's football, real estate, being a doctor, this and that. I will tell you one thing about real estate is football was easy compared to real estate. There is a lot of aspects because you have to manage expectations. And so, for me, what I did as a professional was my coaches told me, go out and do your job, do it well, prepare, and things will happen. That's not so much. You can prepare all you want in real estate, you can do your job, but there's so many other external factors that come into it because there's so many more people involved in the process. So that's the most difficult thing for me in keeping deals alive, and especially in a market like we are.
And then being able to stay laser focused. And I would assume as an athlete, dealing with disappointment. You don't win every game. You don't go undefeated.
Right.
You get a punt block. Someone returns one for a touchdown on you. But it's that mindset of the athlete able to bounce back. I'm sure you have a lot of deals that look like it's a home run and we're about to get to the finish line, and for whatever reason it collapses. Does that athletic experience, do you draw on that, on how you bounce back?
You have
to. Bad stuff?
You have to. And I think that in my position, I only got 5 or 6 tries a game, and so if you had a bad punt, you got to learn to come back. And so you ask yourself, why was it a bad punt? Was it a technique thing? Was it the wind? Whatever the external factors of what happened into that, you basically analyze it and you move on and you don't stick to it. So you get better every day. You have goals and things like that. I think it's a great model for people that played football like I did to bring into what we do, because it's every day is the same. The only thing that's not the same is that the accountability part of it. I don't have a head coach like Tom Coughlin telling me to get up and go to work early, do your thing. So that's probably the biggest adjustment it was for me when I got done playing, was having the accountability and being a coach, my coach for my two boys in the team, and just the accountability part of it is tough.
Last year was top 100. A lot of specialists were recognized in the history of the Giants. A lot of great specialists played for this franchise. What was that like for you?
As far as
just the whole knowing that you're part of this 100 years of Giant football.
I look at all the names that were on that 100 list, and there's a lot of my teammates on there. And I thought it was outstanding. I think it was great what the team did to bring all those people back, let the fans understand who they were. I think the access to those players was amazing throughout the season. And I still live in the area, obviously, and I think that everybody always asks me who your favorite team is, and I mean, like, seriously, I have to tell you that. I got the Super Bowl trophies in my kitchen, so I think I know who my favorite team is, but I just love the community. I love the people. I love coming back to this place. I love seeing you guys. I mean, even I've been away from you guys over 3 years now, but it just seems like yesterday that we were working together. I've come into the building. It is a little bit different, but the one thing about the Giants organization is, the true thing is, once a Giant, always Giant. I just appreciate everything they've done for me and everything they do for me.
All right, for someone looking for a house or whatever, where do they go?
Well, just go to the FeaglesHomeTeam.com. We have a website there that has everything you need to know. We work up in Northwest Bergen County. And by the way, if you have somebody outside of Bergen County, we'll refer somebody, a really good person for you. But thank you for the opportunity.
All right, we appreciate it, Jeff.
Thank you, Bob.
Good seeing you. Popper's Perspective brought to you by Bob's Discount Furniture, the official furniture store and mattress partner of the New York Football Giants.